Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. One thing about Vechain is their liquidity pools just aren't very attractive to people. And I think they actually need better yielding liquidity pools to attract much into their DeFi. Yes, you see VimWorld has about $500,000 locked in it, but look at the starting APR. It's only 15.24. I don't think anyone is really going to dive in head over heels for 15% estimated APR. I mean, this is just the starting APR because this essentially just opened a couple of hours ago. Most projects open APRs at over 100% or over 200%. Now, that comes down pretty fast over the first couple of weeks. But they have that initial high percentage to attract people. If you're doing 15.24% APR, you're really not going to attract anything. And the pool size is fairly small. It's only like $500,000, which means there's not that many people actually locked. So your initial starting APR is way too small to actually attract anyone. You need APRs of like triple digits to actually start, and then it comes down after a couple of weeks. Look at Elrond and Meyer. Look at some of the Luna pools. If you don't have those APRs, you're not going to really attract that many people into the ecosystem. Now, Veed, for those of you that don't know, is VimWorld's coin. And VimWorld's team distribution isn't really that big. I mean, the team only gets about 15%. I mean, not 15%, 5% of team members and advisors. But they actually have, 5% for rainy day reserve, no more than 10% as initial circulation, including Vim holders, essential investors in IVO, 20% for marketing, and 10% investments and acquisitions, 20% for business development. I do think they need to allocate more percentage for the staking to actually you can actually start the staking at a very high percentage and then come down fairly quickly. You need to get people initially in the staking. Now, I understand for a game, you don't want maybe you don't really want the coins actually floating around. And if the game gets very popular, it might very well be worth it, but that's asking people to take a huge risk for not so much APR right now. Now, I'm not talking just about Veed, but other liquidity pools need to actually have higher APRs. The Vex VET one is like a model of what you should actually do. If you look at Vex VET, it's at 47.74, which still isn't too bad, but it's been up since basically November. And right now it's April, so it's been 5 months and it's still hovering around 47%. Now, when I started staking VET, it was over 200%. And those are the percentages you actually need. Those are the percentages you absolutely need to actually attract people to yield farm on your pool. If you don't have those kind of percentages, people are not going to take the liquidity risk or the impermanent loss risk in order to farm. VUSD VET, that's okay because that's essentially a stablecoin pair. I think that's perfectly fine. And stablecoin pairs usually aren't that high in terms of APR. I think 29 is okay. But something like Veed, which is like high risk, and high risk because of impermanent loss, and it's a small project like VimWorld, you need a much higher estimated APR to start to get people to actually stake in it. Same thing with World of VVET. Now, 40.76 isn't really that bad, but the thing is there's only $111,000 staked in it, and when that goes up, that estimated APR will come down. A lot of the other networks, when they start staking, like I said, they have several hundred APR to actually start. And they actually have higher team distributions to their advisors. So I'm not really sure how you're actually allocating your coins, but you do actually need to allocate a higher percentage to staking and yield farming if you want to attract people to your DeFi. Because at least initially, when those things start, when those things actually start, the attraction to those pools is the high APR. And without the higher APR, it's going to be very hard to build your community. And that's why Vex VET is actually still by far the biggest pool with 12.84 million. I really do hope there are other exchanges outside of VExchange that actually do this and have competing pools that actually offer higher APRs. VeChain definitely needs to build up its DeFi ecosystem and attract more people. And one of the ways to do that is actually offer juicier APRs at the beginning. If you have a maximum supply like we have 100 billion coins, your initial distribution should be very, very small, maybe 1 or 2 billion, and then like a lot of the rest should actually come within staking. So that APR will be very, very high. And even though if you have a high inflation rate for the first couple of months, you still have a long way to go to the maximum supply. So you need to balance out your tokenomics and have really good rewards, at least at the beginning, to get people into your DeFi. And when people are locked into your DeFi, more and more people will come and they'll be more interested in your game as well. So these APRs and these farming rewards just aren't enough to actually attract people to the ecosystem and to the project. So I do think you need to, if you're doing a project on VET and you want some liquidity and you want to do liquidity pools, I really, really think you need to like look at your token distribution and look at what initial percentage for the first few weeks at least that you are actually offering. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.